Hey there, this is my first video on how to use the Hammer editor. In this video, I'm just going to show you what you need to get Hammer running and just some of the basic interface. So what you want to do is open up Steam, and you need to have some sort of game, not just a mod like this here is a mod. These two games are mods. You have to have an actual game, like I have Half-Life 2 and Counter-Strike Source. So you have to have at least one game installed. So if I only Half-Life 2 installed, that would work. And if I only Counter-Strike Source installed, that would work as well. So after you have, make sure you have a game installed, you can go to Tools, and you need to have the Source SDK installed. That's this right here. So once you have that installed, you can start it up. And once that starts up, you have this box here. And what you want to be worrying about is just this right here, the Hammer editor. But before we start that up, we have to make sure we are running the correct game. So what you do is you go to your engine version, and you have different engines, Orange Box, Half-Life 2 Episode 1. Depending on what games you have, you'll have different ones listed here. And the game, and then this is the game you choose. This is where you choose the game you want to make your maps for. So in this tutorial, I'll be making for Counter-Strike Source, but you can make maps for any of these games that you have listed. So double-click Hammer Editor and start it up. Alright, so when you start it up, you have this big blank screen here with things on the left, right, and top. You also have this box down here. You don't really need it, so you can exit out of it. So you just go to File, New, and you get all of this stuff popping up here. So at first when you see this, you'll probably be a little bit alarmed with all the things that you see. But since you're just starting out, you don't really need a lot of this stuff anyway, so there's nothing really to worry about. So you have your camera here, so where you can view your map, it looks like. Obviously it's blank right now because we have nothing to need. We have the top view on the grid, so we can see what our map looks like from on top. This is the side view, and this is the front view, sorry. So in these three quadrants right here, these are all in grid view. You actually make your brushes on these, and in this camera view, you just look at everything, but you don't actually build anything in the camera view. So I'll just go over the basic tools. This is the selection tool, and with the selection tool, you can select different brushes or props or any objects you have in your grid view. You can select them, move around, and move them around to where you want them to be. This is the magnify tool. I've never used this before. I'm not sure. It's probably for zooming in and out when you're in your camera view. You won't really need it when you're starting out though. Next is the camera view, the camera tool. And what you do with that is you click and drag where you want your camera to be in the grid. And then that's where you'll be looking on your camera view right here. So obviously right now I have nothing, but I'm just going to quickly put something down here. And go to my camera, move it. You'll see here my little camera on the grid right over here. You can see as I go around, it moves around with me. You don't have to be in the camera view while you're looking around. You can just go back to selection tool and just use the WASD keys to move, and then the arrow keys to pan around like this. So it's WASD to move, arrow keys to look around. And you can just fly around your whatever you made. Next tool is the entity tool. So I'll go back to my block again. And what the entity tool allows you to do is place pretty much any objects in the game. So you can put your spawn points, your lights, pretty much everything you need to really make your game good and function well. It's just as important as the block tool, in that you need to build everything in your map. So if I click on my camera view, you'll see this guy here. It's a terrorist. If you're running Half-Life 2, you'll get a green guy. And this is just my spawn point for any terrorists that I have placed in the map. You can also put other things, like I'll just go through here and pick something. A light. So just click on the grid, and there's your light. Or if you want to be more specific when you're doing this, you can go like this in your grid, and so you have that square. In that square is where my object is going to be placed. So if I go in this view, I can put it up where exactly I want. And then I go in the camera view, and I look at the very center of all of these lines. That's where we created. So then I just press enter. Or sorry, I just right click, create object, and there we go, I have my light. Alright, so the next tool is the block tool, which I've already used a little bit, even though I haven't really explained it. So you have your block tool selected, and in your grid view, not the camera view, you can't build anything in the camera view. You just click and drag, and you see here I have this lined box. Also in the camera view, you can kind of see a see-through kind of box. And then I go in my different views, and what you can do in your different views is drag it and make different sizes, like see, it's getting bigger there. If I look up, I can make it taller. And you can just change the sizes while looking at the different views, move it around, do whatever you want really. So then, to create object, either right click, go to create object, or you can just press enter and it'll create your new brush. So this is the brush I just created, and that's how you use the block tool. Next is the texture application tool. So once you click it, you have this face edit sheet open up, and you can just click on the face you want to change the texture of. So example, I want to change this face right here, and when I click it, notice how it goes to red. That means that's the face I'm changing. And if I want to turn off this red, I can just go to hide mask and that turns it off. And then what you do, if you want to change your texture, is you go to this browse button right here. And then here you'll see all of the textures in the game. So you can just pick whatever you want, any texture you want. Just pick whatever one you want, double click it, and then go to apply. And then that's the texture right there that I picked. Don't really worry about these other ones for now, since you're just beginning, you won't really want to have to worry about these too much. And then if I have this texture and say I want to put it on this right here, just right click and it goes on here. I want to put it here, right click. And then if I go back to my original texture I had and I want to put it up here again, just go have this one selected and then right click and it's back. So that's how I use the texture application tool. Apply current texture. That's pretty basic. You just go over here. This is your texture. You can select whatever texture you want. So just go through here, click this one, say. So you have this one selected in this box here. Or you can go to browse and look at different ones. And then you click the brush you want to change all the faces to, and you click this, and they all turn into that same one. Notice how it's every side of it is all the texture I have right up here. So that's what that does. Next is the apply decal tool, or decal, or whatever you want to call it. So when I click that, you get like this little like explosion looking thing. So obviously a decal or decal is like graffiti or something like that. So we go here in filter, and that pretty much filters out words you want. So it's kind of like a search bar where you can search what you want. So let's say wall. If I want a wall, then I have all my wall textures. If I want dirt, then I type dirt and I get all these. But I want decals, or decals, sorry. And so I have all these. So let's say you want some graffiti. So you just double click it, and you have it right over here on the side, and you click down like this, and there you go. It pops up. It's not like a brush where there's like any edges, it's just one face kind of just sticks there. And you will see this little, I don't even know what to call it, but it's like axis on a grid. And with those, you can move them around. So I want to move them over here, and it'll move the decal with them. Move over there, whatever you want. And you have to make sure that it's always